Someday I like to open this check and have it like be like $1 million. Like, sweet. Someone put a couple extra zeros in there. Oh, I also been bugging them. I've been bugging the mayor. So what are you going to do? How are you going to prepare for the floods? I don't see any dirt being put by the freeway. Are you going to? Is this city council and administration have the guts just to go ahead and do it without asking for Caltrans permission? Well, we'll have a study session. I said, everybody's new here. Are you going to practice putting together a call center and doing all that stuff? But why sacrifice us? Really, you know? They're the ones that bought the house on the other side, or south of 120. How long you been here? Where'd you guys buy your house? 82, 80? So the 86, you were here when the 86 floods? You know,
Ready, Chief? Staff ready? Board ready?
yes, sir.
All right. We'll recall this meeting to order. Report from closed session, Chief.
The board has directed me to continue with negotiations and move into the fact-finding. They've selected their panel and directed me to report back to PERB with that selection.
Thank you. Roll call.
Director Manuel Medeiros. Director Ty Payton. Director Robert Gleason.
Present.
Vice Chair Gloriana Rhodes. Chairman Benny Gatto.
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, would you stand for Pledge of Allegiance, please? Sarah, being you got my $10, would you lead us, please? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay. Anyone have a conflict of interest?
I do not.
None. Okay. I do. Oh, okay. Okay, presentations, Chief. I don't see your reserve people here.
So I'm going to have to take the blame that we didn't follow up and we dropped the ball and they didn't get notified to be here. So I'm going to table that until next meeting and I'll have them present and informed.
Okay. Well, I think it was 3 of us here at the badge pinning ceremony. That was very, very good.
It was good.
Bob and Gloria and myself attended it.
I am sorry, but I have problems with my tractor for 2 weeks.
That's all right.
I had to take the fuel tank out of the DMP. It was not present.
That's all right. The board was represented.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't take it. No, but it's not because I have some problems.
Yeah.
It took me 3 weeks to get it resolved.
No problem. Go ahead.
Do they have to come to the board? I mean, these are not people that if they don't have any jobs tonight. I mean, their time would be better served doing some training or something else.
That's on Tuesdays.
Yeah, they don't have to. I like to present the employees to the to the board that as they come. The fire chief does get to hire and dismiss and all that, but it's just more of a formality so that they get to meet the board, and so you get to see faces that you're going to be seeing around the stations.
Okay, no, that makes sense. I just, it's not like a firefighter that's hired where, this is hopefully their only job. But, they have other lives to run. And because there was three of us, the board was well represented. We shook everybody's hand and, just keep doing things the way you do.
Okay. Move on to item 7, public comments. That's the portion of the agenda that persons who wish to speak to the board on any item not on the agenda may do so at this time. We don't have any speakers, Becky? Okay. Item number 8 then is the consent calendar, and you want to read that?
Okay, consent items. Item 8.1, October 15, 2015, regular board meeting minutes. Item 8.2, monthly register of warrants. Item 8.3, receive and file October 2015 incident and training report. Item 8.4, receive and file monthly year-to-date budget report.
Okay, any items to be pulled by the board? If not, I'll look for a motion to approve.
Motion to approve consent calendar 8.1, 8.2, 8.3, and 8.4.
Okay, motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Director Manuel Maderos. Director Robert Gleason.
Yes.
Director Ty Payton. Vice Chair Gloriana Rhodes.
Yes.
Chairman Benny Gatto.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, we'll move on to item 9, which is scheduled items. 9.1 is approve and adopt resolution 2015-18, Lathrop Manteca Fire Protection District property and equipment capitalization policy. Chief?
Okay, this is the resolution that we brought last month and we had to bring back because the resolution didn't get inserted. So I'm going to have Becky do the presentation on this, my executive assistant.
Thank you, Chief. We're looking to approve and adopt Resolution 2015-18, the Lathrop Manteca District Property and Equipment Capitalization Policy, which is Policy 0.30. We didn't have a current capitalization policy established, and that would be since 2011, 2012. And the current auditor requested the district have a capitalization policy with a depreciation schedule. At last meeting, we had briefly commented that the purchase price, we were looking at a fixed asset purchase price of $2,000 or more. We did take recommendation by board to put that fixed asset price of $5,000 or more to adequately demonstrate the value of property or equipment within the district. At this point, staff recommends the board approve and adopt Resolution 2015-18, the Lathrop Manteca Fire District Property and Equipment Capitalization Policy. Any questions?
I have a comment, but no question.
Okay, go ahead.
This comment I have is, it's thank you for quick changes, so from one meeting to the next, so we can move on and address this and many more of the auditor's recommendations.
Okay.
The way I'm understanding the resolution, then you will be the person who declares that they're surplus or not. Perfect. Only one person, not.
Yes. Yep.
Very good.
Any other questions? Daniel? Okay. I have none. I'll look. It's just kind of a cleanup project, right, Chief? Something we've been needing to do, so.
Yeah, it's one of the many recommendations that we got from the financial consultant and from our current auditor. So we're moving forward with them. We're trying not to overload you, bring one a month.
Okay, thank you.
This one we had to bring back, though, unfortunately.
Okay, no other questions? I'll look for a motion.
I make a motion that we approve and adopt resolution 2015-18, Lathrop Manteca Fire Protection District Property and Equipment Capitalization Policy 0.30.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Okay, item 9.2 is approve solar solutions for Fire Station 31, 32, 33, and 34, and admin office.
Excuse me.
And who's giving that report?
So I have, I got a little bit of a presentation on my side. We looked at solar maybe a year ago, a couple years back. It was recommended. It was real popular. The school district was doing it. The city has done a lot of solar. And when we went out, there was a few problems, and I think Ron Riceacre is going to be able to articulate, is that the programs really didn't fit for government agencies. They were having problems getting funding. And so when we looked at it, it was very expensive, and it didn't seem to just to pay out at the end of the day for us. So as we've moved forward, we were waiting for, solar technology to be more advanced and programs to come around that would fit the district's need. And I've met and spoke with Ron on several occasions, and he put together a pretty decent package, and so I'm going to have him complete the presentation on that.
Okay. Come forward, state your name and address for the record, please.
Thank you. Ron Riceacre, 4034 Ravensworth Place, Roseville, California. Darren Dowd, CEO of the company. We're both the owners of Velocity Solar. We both want to thank you for your time this evening. If you want, I can go ahead and, oh, you already got it up there. Thank you. Becky, right?
Yes.
Appreciate that. About a year and a half ago, before we dive into this, I received a phone call from Robert Buckwalter and Dave Ingram from Clements Firehouse. You guys probably know those guys. And it was a request to come up with a way to get solar on their station and get them in the green. Working with them for over a year now through a vigorous process, we've developed which we think is a very simple system and solution for firehouses and other government agencies to put solar on the facility in a power purchase agreement with an optional buyout so they can then own it and take advantage of some tax advantages which are never available to a government facility, which I will explain as we go through this. So, Becky, do you want me to run the clicker? Is it set? Okay.
Might have to turn it off.
Okay. There we go. Oh, yep, there we go. Got it. Great. So, the fire station program overview. Run into some speed bumps, if you can only imagine, in the beginning. Government-owned properties, nobody wanted to loan to a government property because there's no way to put a lien on the property. We've overcome that with our banking partner. Once we got through that hurdle, they wanted to have an ACH debit. Because they couldn't have a loan, they're like, okay, we want to definitely attach the bank account and pull our own money out guaranteed every month. Well, as we all know here, that's Treasury, and that's just not going to happen either. So the bank, we got around that as well. And then the tax credit, which got pretty exciting here, is never available for a government facility to take advantage of. However, it's available for a solar solution from the government to any other party besides the government property. So we've developed a system that allows us to not only take the tax credit ourselves, we apply it back towards the principal purchase of the system at year 6, which we'll go into. So ownership of power creates an asset over time, of course. We have a no upfront cost solution for each station that we've done. We've actually just installed Clement's house. Rippon's house has been already board approved, signed, and that's going to be installed next. And we're going through, I can list off all the ones in order as we're working on here. Yes, sir.
Excuse me, Ron.
Yes.
What firehouses have you did so far?
Clement's Firehouse is complete.
Okay.
And I'll show you some photos of that install towards the end here. And then Ripon Firehouse is complete on the paperwork side. We just haven't installed it yet. It's in the engineering process as we speak, and that's for the big house with Dennis Bitters, the main fire station. And then they're board approving the financials of the smaller house as a cash budget in January. And I will go into those details in a second as well. So,
Now, other than firehouses, have you did what? Homeowners?
we do 2 home installs a day. So we've done a couple. We've been in business for 8 years together in the energy business, 2 years in solar, and we install 1 to 2 systems on average a day residentially, and smaller commercial projects here and there as well. Over the last year, we've been developing the system for the government to find our niche, if you will. We're not Solar City. We don't claim to be. We don't need to go install 26,000 systems a month. We want to find and work with good people, good programs, and find a niche in the system, which we have done very well. And every board I've been in front of has just been blown away on what we can offer. So, I'll go through the details here, and I'll show you guys all that we have a win-win here that is good for everybody.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. So looking at Station 31 and Admin Office, what we did, we combined both of those on a net meter allocation factor. So meaning I can put one array up and combine 2 meters on the same property, which covers the admin's bill as well. So that total right now is $1,157 a month that you guys spend on your PG&E exactly at that station and admin. A power replacement with solar is going to drop you down to $961 a month, okay? That's a monthly savings of $196. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot, but that $196 can go right back to your budget on a monthly basis, and you can put that wherever you want. At the same time, we just installed a $150,800 system on the facility at zero cost out of pocket, okay? This system over the term of 30 years will generate $1.13 million in power, okay, and revenue back to the fire station, okay, continuously. Now, as I look at the next slide and break down where the money goes, this is where it gets kind of exciting. It's a dual purpose payment. So instead of paying your $1,100 a month right now and throwing it literally in the trash can at PG&E, you're going to take your $961 a month, have the same power, and cover your power usage, and put that towards an asset with a 0% interest rate, okay? This $961 now pays for your monthly power, and it pays down the system from $150,000 and change down to $63,000 and $619, which is 60% off the original investment after year 6. It's a buyout option to allow you guys to own the system, take the benefits of ownership. It's not mandatory. We didn't want it to be mandatory because if year 6 comes around and you guys are in need of a new building or a new truck that's more important, we allow the payout system to roll out. And I did provide you guys with the exact payout schedule. But when the auditors and the accountants and the government due diligence went through Clements, they said year 6 is the perfect break-even point for the firehouse to buy it out. So how Clements is set up, they're having their savings go into they have their savings each month go right to a savings account, and they add a little bit every month or every year to that budget. To them, it's like $8,000 a year. They need to allocate towards their solar ownership. At year 6, instead of buying the system for $150,000, they now pay $63,000 for it, or in your case, $63,000 for it, which is 60% off the original price because we took that tax credit for you. Legally took the tax credit for you, and this is all government audited to the nth degree, and we applied it back towards your principal. Okay, that is remarkable in how that part of it works. So in this system here, if we go back a slide here, you will have ownership of the system, and if you take a snapshot at year 30, you have $1.13 million of produced power in your power plant that the station and city now own. Okay, now for Station 34, same situation, different numbers. Average cost of power monthly is $1,581. The power replacement with solar is $1,417. Again, saving about $164 a month, nothing huge, but the $221,000 cost of the system, okay, will drop down to $92,000 at year 6, after year 6, which is 60%. Again, us putting back the tax rebate back into the original principal loan. Now, your buyouts on that, again, are not mandatory, and I'd like to just go through a schedule here, an idea of what that would be. So if we looked at Station 34 that we're looking at now, and say you didn't want to buy it out at year 6, it has an optional buyout at year 10, year 15, and year 20. All right? So the buyout on that, just to give you an example here, of $92,024 at year 6, At year 10 drops to 89 and change, year 15, 77, and if you go clear out to year 20, you only owe $49,000. So you don't have to buy out the system. However, when they took the break-even points in the analysis with the accountants in Clements and Ripon, and one of the guys on the board, Bryce in Ripon. Do you guys know Bryce? He owns a big facility over here. He's very pro-solar, spent millions of dollars in solar. He had his analysts look at the details of this. He said year 6 is dead on. He goes, that's going to give the fire stations the most return on investment and value to their system. So if you take advantage of the no money out of pocket, the idea behind that was, hey, here's solar, it's a great solution, but you have to come up with a couple $100,000, which most firehouses have already allocated their budget. It gives us the ability to give you guys a system for zero, let you plan for the buyout, and also give you back the tax credit so you're buying the system out for 40% of its value. It's brilliant. Now, any questions on that program itself on stations 31 and 34?
Questions?
You're talking to the choir. Sorry.
Yeah. You got one.
14 years in.
Well, Daniel, you got a question?
Yeah, that sounds pretty good, you know. And
I like you, Manuel. I can't wait to hear this
that's
one.
Okay, but see, there's one thing you don't have over here is who's be taking care of the system.
Great.
Do we take care of the system, or are you guys going to come in and take care of the system for us for repairs?
So I'm going to address that right now.
Huh?
I'll address that right now for you, absolutely.
Because you know what? Because the farmer, I don't think they'd be. I shouldn't say that because I mean, you know, they won't be able to repair the damn thing.
Right. So the system, that's a very good question. Thank you for asking. The system has been specified with a bulk amount of amenities, meaning we used German-engineered panels, German-spec'd, engineered, manufactured, shipped, and assembled in Germany, ship over to here. Nothing China was approved by Clements or Ripon. We have a specification of the engineering panels that we use. And then we also, on the inverter side, we use American-made in Colorado SMA inverters, which have the smart microtechnology in a string inverter system. So we use the best of the best equipment. Now, the system, straight out of the gate, has a 10-year unlimited warranty, bumper to bumper, for lack of better terms, okay? Now, in Clement's situation, at year 6, when they're going to buy it out, they're opting to choose to spend $4,000 to buy an extra 10 years, to give them a 20-year unlimited warranty. Okay? If you choose that, that's no problem. We can calculate that at the time of purchase at buyout or at year 10. It doesn't matter when you buy that option. Now, the only thing that is speculative to go bad in a solar system, there's no moving parts, is the usage of the inverter. Okay? The inverter right now is looking between 14 and 18 years of use to possibly have one of them fail. Clement's house has about 3 of them. Each inverter, if you chose not to have the warranty, okay, and it fails, you know, between year 10 and year 20 or 30, would have a cost between about $2,000 to $4,000, depending on the inverter, to just replace it. So, you know, if you have 3 or 4 inverters, it might be worth spending $3,000 or $4,000 for the warranty to span 20 years. Now, if you choose never to buy out the system and you want to just stay in the program, we cover it to the nth degree, 100% from A to Z. Now, I had a question today at the Murata with Chief Tui Tavuki, and it was actually with Chief Llewellyn or Battalion Chief Llewellyn. He said, what if we have a cloudy day or a month that's just no rain, El Nino comes in? The beauty of our system and the development, again, we've addressed every single hurdle for a year, over a year and a half, with every aspect of the boards. Okay, if there's a low production in the month, say of December, you only pay for what it produces. So if it doesn't produce much, you don't pay much. You would then get a supplemental bill from PG&E at, say, Tiers 1 or Tiers 2 if we don't produce any power, okay? So you're not paying for the system unless it's producing. That's the beautiful thing about the power purchase agreement we put together for you guys, is you're just going to pay for how it performs. If it's covered in dust and doesn't meet our parameters, we need to dispatch somebody out to clean the panels or to address the situation. That's all in part of the service contract that comes with the system.
Mr. Chair.
I have a...
Since we're on maintenance,
Huh?
does your inverter come on at 50 or 100
50,
watts or 100 watts?
just depends on which inverter it is, which phase it is. There's 240, there's 480. The inverters will kick on at different realms. And this is, I'm very glad you said that, because at Clements, okay, the inverters were kicking on at a little bit later time than we want. We swapped the inverters out to kick on right at the very beginning stages of its production site of power. So I don't know if it's 50 because it's a three-phase system,
Yeah.
but it didn't kick on till like 11 a.m., or whatever it was. So we just swapped out the inverter to a different model for that specific design.
Yeah, because it's like my inverters went out like on the 14th birthday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they were old, so they came
Sure.
on like at 350. I mean,
Okay.
but now my inverter is a 50, and so it cracks, and it's on.
It's on, yeah.
And I check it. It's like, oh, 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's on.
So like,
you got
we
a
haven't been able, since we aren't interconnected yet at Clements, the system of this size, of like a 30 kilowatt system, should kick on the second the sun comes up, maybe 30 minutes in, and it's up and running as soon as it sees power generation. That's the idea. Since the voltage was wrong, we swapped the inverters to the proper, so it's kicking on. Now, in your older inverters, there was typically one string, one array to one string system piled into the box. That's called a string inverter. A microinverter is a little inverter per panel up on the roof. Well, we've combined the technology. SMA has combined the technology, meaning they put microinverter technology into the string inverters now. So there's 3 to 4 different arrays, grids inside the inverter. Well, now you can have different sections. So one section can kick on, and it'll kick on one. It'll run 3 per inverter, which is great. So the efficiency has gone higher. The kick-ons have gone faster because they're incrementally stepping on as different panels get the sun rays and start to build power. So it's like a 1, 2, 3, and then the next inverter does the same thing. If you have an inverter or an array, let's say that's on the other side, or maybe it sees a little shade from a big antenna or a tree at 4 p.m., we'll put that array on one grid. So if it slows down, it won't draw down the others. So we're very conscious about its production, but once again, if it doesn't produce, you don't pay.
Man, I have some more questions. Yeah. We're not done yet. But, you say something that none of these panels are made in China,
None of them are.
but they're made in Germany.
They're made in Germany.
How come they're not made in the U.S.?
The U.S. panels, which is called SunPower, were double the cost. Double the cost for 3% more production and lifespan. It wasn't cost effective.
It's amazing. But anyway, I think, because I know the school district has quite a few, so quite a few schools, U.S. cannot make a panel to compete with Germany?
As of yet, they have not been able to. I mean, we go through a container every 2 weeks, every week sometimes, of the Hanwha 260s. We love them. They've been very effective. They're great quality. I'd love to have a SunPower panel, which is the same quality, made in the USA, to use it, but the price is double. So we opted to keep the cost down, and we have to use the SMA inverters, which are American-made. They're made in Colorado. The plants, actually, there's one plant up in Rockland, California, if anybody ever wanted to tour the plant.
The firm in Colorado?
What's that?
What was the name of the firm in Colorado?
SMA.
Okay, because it's all right. I think they were trying to get a farm on our land. That's all.
Okay.
I think it's why, because they were from over there, from Colorado.
Yeah, I have a question. Once the system is installed,
Mhm.
completely operational,
Mhm.
is there any PG&E cost at all?
Yes. So, Ty, there's going to be an interconnection that's done with PG&E. So if you have a huge array on your roof producing power, we aren't talking about battery storage here and storing your power. We're still going to count on PG&E being the bank. So like you have a checking account, right? Or a savings account, right? You put money in there. There's small fees to have that account at the bank, correct? Small fees. So there's a small fee from PG&E to track and bank your power usage to eliminate you having to keep a battery backup system at your facility. So that power is being produced, it goes into the grid. At nighttime, if you need power, you flip the light on, it comes back out of PG&E's grid because there's no sun power production at night, correct? So they're going to track and monitor with a true-up statement every single month with you, and then every single year you true up. That's why it's so critical that we properly size your system. So my meetings with Chief Neely here and all the other chiefs around have been extensive with getting the right data from the usage. We then get the data, get approval and authorization to go directly to PG&E, and we get a documented report from PG&E that gives that parcel and meter number the exact production and demand usage for that facility. So once we've done that, we size the system to be 100% production match. So as long as the habits don't change significantly, for example, Farmington House, okay, out there with Matt and Connie, okay, you guys know Farmington? Okay, Farmington wants to expand their living quarters. To qualify for this system, you need to have a 20 kilowatt system or higher. Their system came in at 18.3 kilowatts, okay? So we added a little bit of overage to their system to get them into the 20 kilowatt window because they're going to add on some extra usage in the next couple years is what they're talking about. Well, by adding that on, it still broke them even and saved them a little bit of money to have the bigger system. And so they choose to like that option instead of purchasing the system out, which we'll discuss next with stations 32 and 33. They were around 12 kilowatt systems each, okay? So the demand, hitting a 20 kilowatt system is ideal to fall into this financial program. When it gets lower than that, it's not cost effective for any of us to do that. So it ends up being a budgetary decision to make, looking at the ROI and paying for a system outright out of budget.
So, yeah, because I use it, and I just got my bill today from PG&E, and it'll say no payment due, because there's no payment due, because my true-up is the September bill, and my PG&E cost, my electrical cost, was $104 for last month. Okay, I produce enough power, because it would normally run about 3, because we're just, 380, depending, with the pool and the Christmas lights and everything else that goes on, and the kids turn the lights off, they can't find a light switch for the life of them. But I only paid $104. I'm not going to pay that. I'll pay a true up at the end of the year. My end of the year true up runs around $700 at the end of the year that I'll pay PG&E.
And Robert, that includes the connection fee,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And your extra usage. Okay. So in this case, Ty, we're going to have, usage be pretty much a match in every station. And when you use more than you produce, and then some months you'll produce more than you use, it will come in a true up just like he was talking about. But there's a connection fee, to answer your question directly, that they are going to charge you to have that account connected to the grid and monitor that power and send you the true up statement. Those connection fees are always different depending on the rate code that the county and parcel and meter number sits in, and it's all configured when we configure the size of the system per location.
Okay, so just trying to understand. So if the system produces less power than the station needs,
Mm-hmm.
then we pay you less.
You pay us less and pay PG&E a little bit.
Okay.
Yep. So when you look at tiers 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the bill, our goal is to get you at 100% match. So if you do use a little bit more, it puts you into tier 1, which is very inexpensive power anyway. Your tiers 2, 3, and 4 are the most expensive. So if you use a little bit more power, you hit tier 1 or tier 2, not a big deal. At tier 3 and 4, you want to completely eliminate.
So Bob, the $700 that you paid in your true-up cuts into whatever savings you get from.
Right, yeah. At the end of the year, because Christmas, December, is my big bill month. Okay?
Sure.
It's cloudy outside, and we're using a lot of power. And so when I get to the end of the year, yeah, it's $700.
And that's because your system is probably a little undersized for your usage.
Right, they didn't allow us back then to go to 100.
Right. So he probably has an 85% coverage system. So we're talking about a 100% coverage system. So your true-up will actually more than likely be a negative balance. Ideally, we have a buffer in our designs. We're going to produce more than we say on paper by a little bit, okay? ideally, we want to overproduce enough that it offsets your connection fees and some of the over usage if you end up hitting those few months here and there. So it's never going to be an exact science because we don't know what you're going to use month to month and how that's going to fluctuate. But when you take a whole year's average per facility, you nail it down pretty good. No big deal, though. At the end of the month or end of the year, you either have a zero balance or you have a little bit of a true-up you need to pay to PG&E, which you'll know. It won't be a surprise because they're going to send you a monthly statement to see where you're at. Great question. Thank you.
Okay, my question would be, if this board decides to go with this, 5 years from now, we got a whole new board, and that board says, I don't think we're saving enough money, let's get rid of that.
Okay.
Is that an option?
So in that case, yes, there's an option to pay out, to buy it out, or to pay the penalty or pay the fee to remove it. That's probably a 0.005% chance of that happening because the numbers are guaranteed to save you money. Keno Lay, the bank, proves to you. So the risk is this. Here's the risk factor. At year 5, so for the first 5 years, you're paying out of pocket less than what you pay to PG&E. Is that a good thing? Absolutely. You've paid $0 out of pocket. Is that a good thing? Absolutely. The risk factor is 0 at this point. So at year 6, they can see all that track record of paying less for power than the neighbor, and there's no, I don't know how to say this with all due respect, there's no board that would ever say, take it off, let's pay more for PG&E. I don't see that ever happening. If that did happen, yeah, I'm sure there's penalties and fees and a cost to rip that off. There's no problem. You can take anything off. There's going to be a penalty of some sort. I don't know what that is off the top of my head. However, in the agreement you're signing, you're having a 0 cost out of pocket and monthly savings out of the gate. And at year 6, the board, more realistically, the board would sit there at year 6 and say, okay, we've been averaging $1,300 without it. We've been averaging $900 with it. Hey, let's go ahead and spend the $60,000 or let's not. I could see the board, this is what came up at Clements. What if the board doesn't want to buy it at year 6? No problem. We keep you on the program all the way through and not have to force you into a buyout. So the force into the buyout had to be amended when we came across that hurdle a year ago. So it really has an open-ended option for you guys to succeed and watch boards change and give them a solution for success.
Yeah, it's just a scenario.
Sure.
When one board or council or whoever, supervisor, whatever, makes a decision, you always got to think down the line of what's going to happen in the future.
Absolutely.
With new boards and councils and so on down the line. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So in this case, Benny, we're looking at power for the facility. We can all agree they need to have power, and if they can have power for less, that's going to be better than paying more. And when the system is on the roof like they own it, they'll own it. It'll be an asset creation. Right now, the money you guys spend every month, so the $1,500, the $1,417 right now at station 34 is being spent at a rate of $1,581 a month right now, thrown in the trash can. Literally every month. You're never going to get it back. It's not going to anything. $1,417 can go to an asset, to go to a power plant that the station's going to own. It's like buying a new truck. It's going to an asset that's going to be on the roof and produce power and generate money for you guys long term. Put over $1.5 million at year 30 into the bottom line of the station.
the other scenario, what if PG&E drops their rates? Which,
Yeah, that'd be great.
yeah. Then what's that going to do to your system?
Well, I don't see that happening, but if they did,
I'll come take
I
it off
like
for
it,
free.
Benny. This is good. So, if PG&E drops their rates, you're still required to buy power at the rate, which is significantly lower. Like PG&E's rates are around 30 cents a kilowatt hour. The rates for, say, station 34 is 0.159. PG&E's, I mean, I could say they might drop it to 0.25, 0.20. You're still half the rate. So PG&E is never going to come down to 0.159. Your rate is still very good.
Yeah, I just
I love it. No, it's good. It's good.
Any other questions?
You know, PG&E is going to continue to go up, Mr. Chair, and I've done this for 14 years now. I'm in my 15th year, and I don't regret it at all, even with the hassle of changing out the inverter. And that hassle was making a phone call, having a company come over, look at it, take it out of the box, take it off the wall, and switch it out. It took like 45 minutes or something. So it's been great. It's been absolutely fantastic to have the chance to say, you know, I don't like PG&E bill. I don't have to pay it, and if I keep all the lights off at night, then I'd be getting money back.
And what was the warranty period?
The warranty is going to be a 20-year warranty if you stay in the program. If you buy it out, it's a 10-year warranty with an optional 10-year purchase warranty program. For this to be about $3,000 to $4,000 to purchase the warranty to give it a full 20-year. Ideally, and Clements and Ripon, they're buying the 20-year coverage plan. So, matter of fact, Kirk at Linden also, it said they'll buy the plan as well. So we've, you know, I stand before you, again, appreciative to the time you're giving me this evening, giving us. We've been working with the districts now for over a year, and it's been, I mean, I've taken some bullets, you know what I mean? Like, it's been crazy to see what we've gone through. We have a very foolproof program that is the only one out there. And Robert Buckwalter, who's a private investigator and sits on the board for Clements, I would encourage you to call him and ask him. He has gone through 7 other companies to try to develop a program, and no one stuck with the due diligence and the diligence to go forward and make it happen like we did. And we made it happen. So right now, we have a very simple solution for you guys to be successful and put solar in the buildings. We're looking at Stan Seifert school. He's on the school board. We're doing Stan's firehouse as well. It's in the works as well. There's a lot of them going on right now. Ripon is signed and done. We're moving into engineering phase right now. And I'd love to show you a couple pictures of the Clements one and go over the process if you guys, let's say you guys were to say, okay, let's move forward like the rest of them are doing and take advantage of the savings of power. The process is simple. There's a signed proposal that you guys all have in your inbox. The proposal needs just one signature, typically from the chairman or the chief. That proposal then generates a formal PPA, power purchase agreement documents that you get, and typically at that point you have your attorneys or your board read through those, obviously word for word like everybody else has. We then do a site survey, design and engineer the system. We order permits, we complete the banking to notice to proceed process, we install and complete, and then we move into interconnection and then start saving. The system is, if you said go today, we're looking at probably second week in January for installation on all stations through, you know, if you did all stations, all 5, it'd be a couple weeks of work, obviously, but we could start them like the second weekend in January. The stations 32 and 33, they're under 20 kilowatts, so they do not qualify for the program. In this case, station 32 is a 12.74 kilowatt system to cover the 100% of the usage. The cost of that system is $50,000, $960, showing a return on investment 9.5 years if you cash it out. Now, the lifetime return on cash is much higher. So year 30, that's $315,000 back in your pocket and avoiding PG&E's rate increases. We can install this system as well as Station 33 in 30 days. They're very similar. So you saw the change of slides there. The systems are very similar. One's 12.22 and the other one is 12.74. So very similar savings, very similar return on cash. And that system there will have a 10-year end-to-end warranty, and we can also do an extended warranty on that as well, same situation. A warranty on this, what do you think, Darren, a warranty on 12 kilowatt system would be?
Yeah, it's probably $900.
$900 to cover you another 10 years, okay? That system, again, installs in 30 days. Any questions on 32 or 33?
Go ahead.
But on these two, we have to come up with the upfront money.
That's correct. Yeah, so they don't fall into the program. Those would be a cash out of budget. So for example, Rippon's Firehouse, the big one, went into the program. There are other ones going cash out of budget in January allocations. So it's going to wait a few weeks to go into next year's budget.
You know, I have something for you, solution for you and for the district.
Great.
You come in here, you give us the whole package, put everything together. Don't separate the section 33 or 32 and 34 and 31. Put them all in one package. If you do that all in one package, you know, the district doesn't have to come up with the money. And you are a winner. The way you are talking about, because section 32 and 33, we have to come up with money up front, no deal. But if you get them all together, put the whole package all together. You got section 31, 34, and 33 and 32, all as a package, you got something. Other than that, no.
So, Manuel, with all due respect, there's no way to do that right now legally. PG&E does not allow net meter allocation to any meters that are not on the same parcel. Okay, I love your idea because it'd be nice to have a big solar farm and allocate those meters, but that's not possible.
This is something that should be discussed with PG&E because this is
Absolutely.
entity is a public entity, and
Absolutely.
therefore it should be an exemption on those things.
I totally agree with you, but as of today, that's not available.
It's up to you to make it work.
He really wants a solar farm on his property.
See, Benny, see, that's the thing, you know. See, when we put it in the school, some of the schools were small, you know. It was no deals like that.
Well, there is. So a Campos school, they allowed net meter allocation, but it has to be on the same parcel. So, for example, they have 6 meters on that campus. They have one brand new gymnasium that's south-facing, plumbed for solar, conduit and everything. We're putting one big array on that takes all the 6 meters combined production on one array, plug it into 1 meter physically, and PG&E allocates all the other meters production on the bill towards that and do that. It's called NEMA, net meter allocation, and that is allowed as long as it's on the same parcel. Over time, I think we will see the solar farm availability for a residential purpose or for private purpose come to fruition. Is it here yet? It's not. It's going to be soon. I would imagine it will be. I don't think it wouldn't change any of the numbers. It would allow you guys not to have to pay out a system 32 and 33. But it's a great idea. I love it.
No, but you see, there is something going on, you know. I mean, it says, you know, PG&E is making some changes by January.
They're always making changes, absolutely.
They are making,
Yeah.
they're coming changes on it. And they're making,
So is the government.
Yeah, well, sure, because the government, you know,
Mr. Chair?
bureaucracy is in the government.
Are these roof mounts or are we on ground mounts?
These are-
At 2s and 3s?
These are all roof mounts. I did provide you guys with the documentation that shows an aerial design view of every property. If you guys feel like peeking at it, we have a full engineered solution here on a diagram. So here's like Station 32 example.
Part of the engineering process is whether or not those roofs will actually, well, they will, but
So let me show you the pictures.
will hold the weight of the panels.
Yeah, so right now we're 1.7 pounds per square foot, which is, old solar was like 8 pounds a square foot. So the way the engineering design, sorry, I'm an engineer.
That's okay.
So the engineering is designed to allow the minimum impact, if you will, on newer commercial structures. The new buildings right now, there's very little safety factor. They build near 1-to-1. It's like 1.3 to 1. You have very little room to add any weight to the roof. The good old days of, let's just overkill it because we just don't know what we're doing are over. They engineer it specifically for what its load, and right now they're giving it like a 0.3 safety factor. We can add a little bit of factor to it. So we need to be, you know, under, they say under 3 pounds per square foot. We're coming in at 1.7. We're mounting on 3 angles on the ridge. I've got great close-up pictures of Clement's house to show you guys. But again, it still falls within the warranty factors and guarantee of the installation. So the engineering mounts are awesome. If we go through, here's Clement's house right here. So we've got the delivery shows up. We have got a full bay full of equipment. That shows up day before installation starts, and it goes through the array. There's a good shot of the array right there. There's another good shot. It's a pretty good size array. This is actually a 32 kilowatt system. where we're looking at right now for stations 34 is a 65 kilowatt system for 34. Okay, and stations 31, including admin, of course, is a 37.7. So the station 1 admin, station 31 admin, sorry, it will be a little bit bigger than that array there. Station 34 will be over double.
I have a question.
Yes, Gloriana.
Now, we don't know where our admin is going to be a year from now.
No problem.
So, I am assuming that, because see, I would have no problem making a motion for 31 and 34.
Sure.
You know, with the possibilities of looking into the budget for future years for 32, 34, and even for the payouts, because we don't know, you know, the six, it's kind of like what Benny said.
Sure.
Your boys can say we're going to pay them in 6 years, but.
Might be a new
there
board.
might be a different board.
Absolutely.
But I was assuming that administration was not part of the proposal for 31.
So we can separate it back out. We originally submitted it without it, and then we talked to Gene and we talked about submitting it with it, knowing that it would probably still be there at year 6. And then let's say year 6 you guys are going to buy it anyway. If you do, then let's say you remove admin, and would you take admin off site, you think?
It would still be used for some.
Right. The building wouldn't leave. It'd be a training room more than likely to work with the training center that's going to be there. But it would be less usage, which I would think would fall into our favor, because then we wouldn't have the overage at any point that we could have. And so when that trues up, we'd be giving PG&E more to come out of the bank later, so to speak, if we used less.
Yeah, the size of 31.
It's fine.
Mr. Chair, couple
Yeah.
things. One with
Okay.
regards to 35. So, same kind of program. Once we took possession, and then add solar on 35.
Right.
That would be the proper way of doing it.
Right, and I spoke to the architect, and he would like to talk to Ron during the design phase, so that he could, so we could address it in the
trust.
Right.
Go for
Then with MDA, are we adding, is MDA part of it? Because they're a part of us.
They're on the same
on the same
parcel.
parcel.
I didn't include Manteca District Ambulance. They have their own meter.
Okay.
But they are on the same parcel. So I don't know if we could.
Of 31.
Yeah. So could I put it in there and then charge them twice for the?
I wasn't going to say that, but you know what?
I'm just kidding.
Cha-ching. No.
We can absolutely adjust for, do you know roughly what they spend a month? Is it your facility, or is it something you lease out?
We lease out, and they put a modular on there. So we could talk to them and get you that information
Okay.
if you're interested, and then adjust it for that.
Yeah, so if it's
It'd be-
not unethical to have the firehouse's array include their power, then you guys just bill them every month?
Well, we wouldn't sell them power because it probably would be
Just
inappropriate. We just
include it in the
include it
rent?
in the rent.
Include it in the rent?
Right.
Okay. We can absolutely change the scope of that, add that size in. On Stations 31, you had plenty of infrastructure to handle the design. That
Right.
is no big deal at all.
And it's just a modular, probably the same as admin would be.
Yeah. So right now, you can see in this picture here, we have 2 complete roof platforms that aren't even touched with panels yet. So if that, I mean, I can't imagine that modular being too significant. Matter of fact, admin wasn't even that significant. It was just a little adder to it. So we can add a little bit, make those adjustments, no problem. It won't change. What we do, you would say, okay, move forward with this, sign and go, and then before we do the formal PPA final, we'd have those numbers into it and just make those adjustments at that time. No problem at all.
One more, Mr. Chair. We have generators.
Yep, every
They
one
kick-
of them.
They kick on.
Yep,
So,
Yep. I know them well.
so they're going to kick on, and
Sure. Mm-hmm.
at night, no problem. But during the day, solar's going to kick on too.
Yeah.
Generator's going to kick on, solar's going to kick on,
Yep.
and now we have excess power that we can't send down the line.
Right.
So what are we going to do?
So there's a master disconnect switch in the design and the inverters that we've just addressed all that with Clements. Getting into the engineering aspects of that, I don't think is necessary unless you want me to. I don't really want to because I don't know the fine details. And I don't want to mislead any information. I can dig into that for you, but they've addressed it. They're tied into it. Clements has a huge generator, as well as all of them. They've got solar, and there's a master disconnect. It's a selector switch automatically. So when it kicks on, does its test mode every day, like I think for 2 or 3 minutes it runs, or 5 minutes it runs. It does a disconnect switch and shuts like PG&E and shuts solar off and just gives it generator power. So at that point, the array would still produce. It would hit the inverters and just sit there idle. It wouldn't go anywhere. So when the generator kicks back off, the automatic selector switch switches and kicks back in. Now there's also a manual switch in that application. Anybody in that station that is authorized to do so can go switch and determine where they want their power. It's a 3-way selector switch. Solar only, generator only, or automatic. That's already in place.
Okay.
So it's a pretty cool idea. I mean, they're definitely covered for sure.
I think that covers
Great
everything
question.
I have.
Just when you think you won't get any more. Yes, sir.
Question. Chief, the station 32 and 33, what is our monthly bill, roughly?
I can tell you exactly if you want.
That's
30.
what I was-
Actually,
Chief, it's right there.
yeah, it's
It's not right there. I don't have it on there, do I? I'm sorry. Let me pull
let's
it up.
put it in here.
Station 32.
I mean, our total cost, the chief budgets $5,000 a month for all our stations plus admin. Okay?
Okay.
That's what we're paying PG&E. Huh? Okay. So,
You have about $862 per month.
yeah.
It's still less than $10,000 per,
That's propane. Yeah.
oh, that's propane.
Yeah. no.
So, do we have it broken down? Is it broken down? Hold on, let me look. Let me see if I got it here.
So I'm saying station 32 and 33 probably use 500 a month,
I think it was around 7 to 720. Yes.
you know?
It's under 1,000 for sure. Trying to find it here.
Is
I
it
have
just 5,000 now?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's right here. I had it it was $4,300 for the year. Okay, so station 32, it says yearly electric bill pre-solar is $4,506.
Well, what I'm saying, Ron, is you're telling us it's going to cost us $48,000 to put solar there,
right.
okay? And
sorry.
if we're only paying $500 or $600 or $700 a year,
A month.
a month,
Your break-even point's 9.2 years. You're correct.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
So,
but so
So I didn't.
it's 300 and it's $315 a month roughly based on the yearly average. So the break-even point is 9.2 years, but, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm going to talk not professionally, because you know what you're doing here, but if you bought it at 9.2, you would break even, say if you paid the bill monthly, and then after that, for the rest of the life of the panels, you're paying zero.
Right.
So you're getting all that extra money for free. You're not going to pay anything on PG&E unless you obviously have to true up or anything like that. So you're saving, $250,000.
It shows you right here.
Ron, it's right on there.
Yeah, it's right on. Yeah, so it is.
Yeah.
wait a minute.
At year 30. Yeah.
Well, so what some of the board.
Section 32 and 33, bring it back to us with all the figures, what you want to do. And then I would say, keep what you can get. And that next month, we will look at it. If more, we ask more questions. You see, people, reaction is back and forth, we have nowhere.
Well,
Sure. No problem.
I make a motion to approve what we are doing from now on, section 31 and 34.
Well, let's hold off just for a minute on the motion. Gloriana?
Yeah, because I was ready to make a motion on 31 and 34 as well, including the administration. But I'll tell you this much right now, on 32 and 33, what I would be looking for in a budget is for us to look at how much little bits we can put in a year or a month to at one point be able to pay for that, because in our situation, 48,000, how much is the other one, 60-something?
No, it's 50.
50, it's 100,000 for the two.
$100,000 if
Yeah.
we don't have the ability to.
Sure.
I mean, for us to, even if we're gonna save at the end. Now, 31 and 32, we're not losing a penny, and we can start saving a little bit, to buy it at 6, but the beauty is, if we can't buy it at 6,
We
we
don't
buy
have
it at 10, or we buy it at 15,
Right.
or we buy it
Right.
at 20.
It's good options, yes.
But, I'm not looking at a 32 and 33 in the near future either.
So you're seconding Manuel's motion?
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yeah.
That was one of the reasons I put this in the word that you wanted to
Yeah.
explain.
All right, just a minute.
Mr. Chair, once Ron was done with his presentation, my recommendation was going to be to approve the solar system, however, hold off on 32s and 33s until we can budget for them and put them in a capital improvement plan that we'll be able to afford, maybe if we can't this year, but next year, or find some way to finance them at 0% interest, or find another alternative to get that project done without costing the district any money. But I would bring it back to the board for their approval prior to doing that. So I would, again, I think, is that what Ripon did too? They held
That's what
off on
Ripon
their...
did. And Gene's, that's exactly falls in line with Gene's and my conversations. Tonight was not to get 32 and 33 approved. It was, I didn't want to be here without a solution, though, an option for you guys to table and discuss it. We talked about that.
If I can ask this, because the recommendation is 31, 32, 33, 34. In the future, because you guys want to be, that's what this led me.
Gotcha.
I understand 31, 34, but I was thinking that I was going against the recommendation in saying 32 and 33 now.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that would have been the board's choice to hold off on those, approve the plan, because we want to move towards that, but hold off until we can find funding for those, 32 and 33.
Do you understand what I'm saying? The staff recommendation, I want to hear what the staff recommendation
Okay.
is. We can say, no, let's throw 32 and 35. I'd rather hear what the chief, who is our principal advisor, to be really honest with you, is
Yeah.
saying to us, because that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that would be it.
So do we want to amend the motion to include, to take 32 and 33?
Out.
No,
At
it
this
stay,
time.
it technically stays in, but but they place them in the capital improvement plan, a future capital improvement plan.
Yeah, because one thing is, we don't even know what's gonna happen to Station 32 with the city of Manteca. They keep developing down that way, and pretty soon, something might happen to Station 32,
Sure. Sure.
Daniel,
That-
because I seconded yours, are you okay with a motion that
Wait a minute,
identifies?
let her talk.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Because I seconded your motion. Are you okay with wording it as, to move ahead with 31 and 34?
And
To
admin,
approve 31, 34 in admin, and then after we do that, we can direct staff to whatever our
as the
desire
chief
is
said.
for 32 and 33.
See, the reason I did what I did is not to discuss the financials with districts at the present time. This is why I wanted the chiefs to bring back to us 32 and 33. But see, I didn't go into the details because I didn't want to the details. But this is what I had on my mind. To let the things so they proceed as we are talking about it. And then the next board meeting, we will discuss and make a decision of what we're going to do. Because in the meantime, the chief has enough time with the gentleman over here to research and come up with a solution that we were looking for. That's the reason why I did it the way I did. But anyway, I agree with you. That's fine.
We went around the circle, but we came to the
Okay.
same point.
I'm with you. Yeah.
All right.
Mr. Chair,
Sit down, man.
Mr. Chair,
Oh, okay.
Mr. Chair,
Walk around.
if Becky could kind of read the motion, because I got lost
All right.
in the rhetoric.
All right, the motion is, it's going to be, and if you don't agree with me, is to go ahead and proceed with 31, 34, and admin, okay? Period. And then we'll talk about 32 and 33 down the line.
Next month.
Well, we don't have to talk about it next month, okay? We'll talk about it when the chief tells us, you know. Okay? Is that all right? Okay, that motion, I'll just clarify Manuel's motion. A second by Gloriana.
Great.
Okay? Roll call, please.
Director Robert Gleason.
Yes.
Director Manuel Maderos.
Yes.
Director Ty Payton.
Yes.
Vice Chair Gloriana Rhodes. Chairman Benny Gatto.
Yes.
Thank you.
Great.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you all.
You got
Who will sign these two here? 31, 34? Chairman. Okay. Can I approach?
Yeah, if the board approves it,
Oh, yeah,
the board
so,
has to approve it, the chairman has to
yeah,
sign
so
it.
you put me on the hook, huh?
Yeah.
The actual name of the firehouse property has to be the name on the signature. So Clements had a very something rural district.
That's us too.
Okay, great. So whatever.
Lathrop Manteca.
What we can do in the future is, when we make the motion, we can identify and direct the fire chief to sign on behalf of the board. If we have that in the document, then it's okay for the chairman not to sign. But we have to actually say, we say, you sign.
Okay. Yeah, Ripon did a committee and appointed the chief to sign at Ripon's. Clements, the board chairman, signed. So everyone's been a little bit different.
So, yeah, this one I thought the board should to take the lead on, and for some of them I'd take, and
And we've been discussing this for 2 years.
right. If I feel it's going to be an issue, that there's going to be more things that may come up with an item, then I'll make sure that you authorize me to sign it so I can work through them and don't
Yeah.
have to call a special meeting.
That's
This one was pretty straight and
That's the way
forward.
it should be.
Yeah.
So, Manuel and the board, I will make a phone call to PG&E, being it's in the same fire district, to see if they'll do a net meter allocation of stations 32 and 33 to put power on 31 and 34's roof. If they can do that, we can make an amendment at the next board meeting to these two proposals. And it's a no if I don't ask, so I'll do some diligence on that. What's that? That's right.
And understand too, that there will need to be a little bit more discussion in terms of what Benny said about 32. I mean, some, you don't know.
Right. Of course.
If he gets a net meter, it would qualify. So it would qualify for the same program.
Right.
So I agree. It's a no.
I mean, you're the same district,
Right.
and you've got 31 and 34 that have extra room on the roof. If
Yeah.
I can put 32 and 33's power on that roof and allocate the meters to those two systems, then they can get solar without even physically having solar. So I'll do some digging on that, and I think that'd be a good thing to know. And I it's good. We'll figure it out. If not, we'll table. No, we're great. You guys have been great. I appreciate your time. And,
Where's the one for admin?
admin is combined
Like with
with
31.
It's 31?
Yeah,
Okay,
so it's all combined.
okay.
Mr. Ch-
Station 31 has the power for admin, and it's going to has the power consumption included in it. So your net meter allocation will be signed with a PG&E document that you guys will also sign through our process. It says, okay, here's PG&E document A and PG&E document B. These two meters are going to be now combined into one. That will come later.
Okay,
Okay? Thank you all.
all right. That it?
there anything else I need to do here?
Nope, it's
On
good.
the-
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much for your time.
Just don't send us a bill.
Nope, no. That's right, yeah.
All right, gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Have a great night.
Okay.
We can go fishing.
Okay, let's move on to item 9.3, is approve and allow fire chief to enter into agreement with Office of Emergency Services for OES Type 1 engine.
About time.
Yeah, so I've had, Battalion Chief Madowski has been working on this project, so I'm going to bring him up for the staff report.
Thank you, Chief Neely. Real quick, the state of California Emergency Services has presented the district with an agreement to receive and use the Type 1 fire engine to respond to the emergency needs of Lathrop, Manteca, and the state of California. I'm sorry, I don't. Oh, there we go. Earlier this year, a little background, staff recognized the value of an additional Type 1 fire engine that could be used by the district for an emergency response in our jurisdiction and provide mutual aid throughout the state of California. The apparatus and equipment ownership is retained by the state of California and is transferred by this agreement for conditional use. The state allows the fire district to use this apparatus during emergency situations, training, and as a backup fire engine for a limited time, providing that the state has not requested the unit for response. The value of the apparatus and the equipment that's retained on it is approximately $270,000, and the fire district is responsible to staff the unit when it was requested by the state of California. Fire personnel assigned to the unit while dispatched to a state emergency is reimbursed per the Cal OES agreements, most of which the fire district is already a participant with. The fire district will be required to maintain the apparatus for any cost $100 or less. Costs over $100 are typically covered by the state of California unless it is deemed to be negligence. Be our responsibility. The fire district will include this Type 1 fire engine into our daily, weekly, and monthly and annual checks, such as pump testing, hose testing, equipment checks, so forth. Either the state of California or the fire district retain the right to terminate the agreement within 14 days of notice, and the fire district was privileged to be selected as a participant if you so choose. If we so choose. Staff recommends that the fire board approve and allow the fire chief to enter into an agreement with the Office of Emergency Services for an OES unit. Type 1.
No, I want to make a recommendation.
Questions?
No, ready to move.
Excuse me, you got no numbers? The expenditure is very small, you know, they got no numbers.
I'm sorry.
You sorry? It's a fiscal impact, very minimal.
Very minimal. So it'd be just the minimal amount that we would pay for it would be the minimal amount that we pay for oil changes, filters, if that was, whatever had to be. It could be a light goes out on the pump panel, that's $50. We have to replace that, something of that nature. But it'd be just like any other apparatus we take care of. I believe this apparatus that they're proposing to give us is a 2006. It's coming from Susanville, but they replace them every 15 or 20 years. They give you a new one, so at no cost. So they just continue to give you one. It's a mechanism for them to have immediate response. That's our commitment, which we do already as in our own engines, but we get to utilize their engine also during our own day-to-day emergencies also.
So no, but there'll be hours. There'll be hours will be just on the loan.
Yeah.
The loan?
A loan. It's theirs. They transfer it to us to use, and then at the end of the day, we don't have to keep it. We can give it back to them. So, but we get to use it for, so if an engine goes down and we need it for backup for the day, we can do that. That's all allowable. If we need to use it for an emergency response, say we have a large fire and it's a backup engine and we can put people on it and we can use it for the next alarm. It's to our use. The string is when California is burning down and they go, hey, we need you to respond on it with the other 5 that are in the county, then we have to go. Yeah. Which we do anyway. Right, and when it's on the incident, they pay the cost to get it fixed. So
it's 10 years
I'll
old.
make a motion we approve.
I believe it is. I'd have to.
Well, it says 2005.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
It's West States.
Yeah.
West States.
It comes all equipped too. So all the equipment's on it, everything.
Yeah, I second the motion.
Okay, motion made, second, that we proceed with this item.
Roll call vote.
Roll call.
Director Maderos?
Yes.
Director Gleason?
Yes.
Director Payton? Yes. Vice Chair Rhodes? Yes. Chairman Gatto?
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. So we should have it in the next month?
Yeah, it takes about a month for us to. I'll send it back. I had to get a copy of proof of insurance. I already did that, so I was just waiting for the board's approval before I sent back the agreement. It's already been signed by the OES director.
Okay. Okay, next item, 9.3, no, 9.4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Approve and allow fire chief to add a part-time employment opportunity for prevention and purchase. Opportunity for prevention. Should have said fire prevention, shouldn't it, chief? Oh, that's all right. And purchase a new prevention vehicle. Okay, who's giving that report?
I have the Deputy Fire Marshal, Steve Pickerel, is going to come up and give the report on this.
Good evening. Here to discuss item 9.4, approve and allow the fire chief to add a part-time employment opportunity for fire prevention and purchase a new vehicle from, excuse me, a new prevention vehicle from fire facility fees. The increased rate of current and future development has created the need for an additional fire prevention staff member to be assigned to handle the expanded workload. In the last year, the rate of growth in the areas in our district has significantly increased. There are several major developments that have been approved and are currently in full progress or are starting construction soon. These developments include the River Islands communities, which will be 11,000 homes at full build-out, the I-5 Logistics Building, which is 745,000 square foot structure, the Mosdale Village Residential Community, Oakwood Shores Residential Development, the Excel Warehouse, which is 627,000 square foot structure, the warehouses in the Crossroad Development, which is three buildings totaling 563,000 square feet, the Pilot Flying J site, which is a 13,000 square foot structure and 8-acre site, including fuel tank farms, the 208-unit Fairfield apartment complex, improvements and additions to the Pilkington site, which includes the reconstruction improvements of over 1 million square feet of existing structure, and the proposal of 3 additional buildings totaling over 1.7 million square feet. And this will include a parcel division where there will be several new parcels along Louise there for future structures to be built. Also, depending on the city's progress on the potential resolving of SB 5 requirements by July, there are 2 central Lathrop tracks currently approved for additional 6,800 homes at full build-out. The Lathrop Manteca Fire District's master plan, established in 2006, states that the service standard that 1 fire prevention employee will be provided for every 10,000 in population, or major development of large-scale commercial industrial development, and that a vehicle and related equipment will be needed for each fire prevention employee. A recent documented municipal survey review conducted by the City of Lathrop states that the population of the City of Lathrop in 2015 is 20,353, with a 2020 prediction of 23,558. The current population in large-scale commercial development triggers the service standard for an additional fire prevention staff member. As of January 1st, 2011, all new residential homes are required to be fire sprinkler protected, and that's statewide. These fire sprinkler systems require plan reviews and approval, hydrostatic testing, and FPA 13 compliant installation inspections by the authority having jurisdiction. We are currently at a pace of over 450 homes a year, requiring an average of 4 to 5 inspections per day for residential fire sprinklers alone. Each of these inspections can take from 1 to 2 hours each. With the recent approval of the many major developments, this daily average will continue to increase. Over the last year, approximately 30% of the residential inspections did result in a failed status and required reinspection. With the additional plan reviews, construction meetings, consultations, and inspections required for the multiple large-scale developments, along with the regular inspections for new businesses, change of occupancies, fire and life safety, and special event inspections, it is not uncommon for to have in excess of 10 inspections scheduled in a day for the sole fire prevention employee. Currently necessary fire prevention services are being requested faster than they can be completed. Due to the many new developments within the fire district, we have exceeded our budgeted revenue each year. In the current year-to-date, plan check inspection services have already produced a revenue of $60,434. Not only have we already exceeded the budgeted amount, the budgeted annual revenue of $46,254, we are on pace to reach approximately $181,302, which is almost 4 times the budgeted amount. The use of a the use of a reserve firefighter as a part-time fire prevention employee used at 6 hours a day, 3 days a week, would cost the district $150 a week, or an average of approximately $650 a month. The use of an outside part-time employee used at 6 hours a day, 3 days a week, would cost the district approximately $180 a week, or an average of approximately $780 a month. The increased revenue will offset the cost of an additional fire prevention staff member. Currently, administration plans to offer the opportunity to a reserve firefighter to augment the fire prevention staff while keeping costs at a minimum. Staff recommends that the fire board allow staff to add a part-time fire inspector to assist in handling the increased amount of required inspections and allow the fire chief to access facility fees to purchase a new prevention vehicle. As for the fiscal impact, the addition of a part-time fire prevention staff member will cost between $4,500 to $5,460 for the remainder of the 2015-2016 fiscal year, and $7,800 to $10,860 annually. The cost of the additional vehicle shall not exceed $50,000 to be funded by the Fire Facility Fee Fund account. So, in a nutshell, our community is growing and growing fast, and we will need an additional employee to accommodate the demand.
Thank you, Steve. Yeah, go ahead.
I have some questions, and I think they would be for the chief.
Yeah.
That was a very nice presentation. Thank you very much. And I wholeheartedly feel that, yes, we do need something.
Mm-hmm.
These are my concerns. You're talking about fire inspector. That's not a, kid that just came out of McDonald's. But we're talking about a part-time position of 3 days a week, 6 hours, at $10 an hour, no benefits, no insurance, no nothing. Do you even think that it is possible to get somebody?
That's a very good question. So that's why we'd be looking at somebody that is just starting in the fire inspection process or fire career, that it would be augment their pay. We're not having them do big buildings or anything. The problem that we're running into is that we can't keep up with the demand of the housing. The housing is I would say it's a lesser model of a fire system, but it is a lot easier to inspect. It does take time to do it because you have to walk through the house. So one of the key things you have to do when you're doing is plan review, which Steve does all the plan reviews for us, and he takes care of all that. And once that's done, then each house has to be inspected for a rough frame.
You sold me real good on that.
So I don't need to do that.
That's not an issue.
But can I find it? Yeah.
You're talking about the only person that can survive on $150 a week and work these hours is a young kid that still lives at home and wants to be a firefighter so bad that they're going to do this. But the average human being,
Right.
remember that only firefighters work where they have days in between.
Right.
Maybe there is a firefighter that is willing to take on this. However, a firefighter coming down to a $10, no benefits, no nothing, my question still remains, do we even think that this
Well, I got a couple reserves that have been helping us off and on right now because Steve has been so overwhelmed with workload that I've had to bring somebody in. So the reserve firefighters that are working at the station, at Station 2, filling that spot, they have time off, and so they have been augmenting us and helping us do inspections. And we've also got a new program incorporated on the iPad that helps them get the job done. So we've been utilizing them, and those are reasonably cheaper. The problem is it's limited, right? We can only use them on their days off, so we're limited on the use. I agree with you. I was going to start with a 1050, and if that doesn't work out, then we'd have to raise the amount to bring it in. So I would like the board to give me a maximum that we would be able to, but I'm trying to keep it within a range that we're getting our money. It's getting paid for by the increase of the plan checks, yeah, which is the inspection fees too.
We get,
Well, in the real world, and of course, we don't have the money to tell ourselves the real world.
Yeah.
But in the real world, where there is no, benefits because it is a part-time job or whatever, like a substitute teacher will make more money than sometimes a regular teacher.
Right.
But they don't get the benefit fee, so you have to give some incentive. This is so little. I mean, I hope to, we're looking, like I said before, this is a kid that is so desperate to get into the fire world, because they can't make a living on it.
Yeah.
And the duration will probably be short because once they get, the idea is to keep going the ladder.
Right.
And get, so I don't know if there's any other possibilities.
I could raise it to $15 an hour, and we could try that.
well, even the reserves at covering at twos, they're not paid a whole lot of money to go
Right.
work at twos, and they want to do that. And so they rearrange their schedules with their
Yeah.
other jobs or their two other jobs or for some, and their side work and everything, so that they can get that opportunity. There are those young men, young women who want this opportunity, and they're going to go for it. 73% of all firefighters are volunteer. They get paid nothing, and that's nationwide. So what an opportunity. What
Yeah.
an opportunity to learn
It does help 'em.
things that are just, they can't get anywhere else.
But I agree that,
Just don't want to pay McDonald's price.
I agree.
You understand what I mean? We
Yeah.
don't have the money, but at the same time, this is not McDonald's. This is not Burger King.
Right.
These are people that have, and I'm not saying anything bad about McDonald's or Burger
No,
King.
no, I get it.
There's a lot of great, management people and so forth.
Yeah.
But that's their first, try in the world. These guys already have to come in to be, fire inspector. You have to have more than, I would say, a very well-trained reserve.
Yeah, it would have to be.
But the first thing that crossed my mind is just, 19, 20-year-old kid doesn't have a job yet, but mom and dad are willing to still foot the bill.
Yeah.
Lewis would have been great for this.
Right.
Essentially, that's what the reserves are now.
Yeah, right.
We're paying the reserves McDonald's money now.
Yeah.
But they have jobs, but they have their own jobs, and doesn't a reserve have the option of saying no?
Yeah.
This is a paid employee. This is an employee that if we need them, they gotta be there.
Yeah.
So maybe the reserve, I don't know, maybe the reserve is the option to go,
We could try down that path, and then,
Okay, you just got down estimate.
No,
I'm gonna give you a different.
let him finish.
Well, my question would, I'm changing something. My question would be about how do we train them?
so Steve has been taking them out, the reserves, for instance, taking them out and going through a house day by day in. And then we've established on the iPad that syncs with our firehouse, our RMS system, and our occupancies. They have a checklist that they go through that they have to get checked off. So they check the hangers. They check, everything's got to be 6 inches. So, for instance, you have the metal hangers. When you have a T or an elbow, it has to be within 6 inches of that. So they have a whole checklist. And Steve goes through and he trains them every day. And then if they have questions, they can call Steve because he's available throughout the day.
So there's already a pool of people that we've trained to do what this proposal is suggesting.
Right. A couple of them, yeah.
And we could hire, theoretically, could have more than one person available to do it.
Yes. We're trying to do that. So, We just wanted to leave options. That way, there's the reserve option, and then if that doesn't work out, then we can hire a part-time employee if it comes to that.
So do we assume any liability if they approve something, and it's faulty? Yeah,
Well, it has, yeah, so I guess we do because they test the system and we approve it. So, but that doesn't mean that down the road, after we approved it, that they didn't change something out. So, so yes and no. I mean, you could always say, well, that's not how we approved the system. There's no way to, So we have strict guidelines that are right out of 13D that tell you it can't be this far away from a light, and there can't be this far away from the fan, and so that goes through that. But we catch a lot of that during the plan review, which Steve does. You know what I mean? Because when he reviews the plans, he catches a lot of that stuff in that process.
So my last question, so obviously you and Steve are confident in the people, like your training's ability to do that?
Absolutely.
And then I think we also have the city inspector, comes along and does a lot of that too.
Not the fire stuff,
Well,
but
not the
but he
fire
does
stuff,
inspection of
but
the
I
other
mean,
stuff. Yeah.
The city inspector.
And we work really good together. So if he sees something that we missed, he'd point it out. He'd be the first one to point it out to us.
You guys do vice versa, so.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Taking so long, I make a motion.
No, I have questions.
Go ahead.
Okay. You have two people that are reserves. Have you considered maybe other options, like we've got two people that can and are willing? Is this something that can be shared with wages, in terms of, in other words, you can have a shared job? Would that be a possibility? My concern is, and I don't want to ask more than I should, but are these guys, do these guys have regular jobs?
The reserves.
Two that are helping out right now?
I think, well, one of them works for an ambulance company too. So he works at the station for the 10 days, well, a portion of the 10 days, they split it, there's two of them. And then he works for the ambulance company. And then when he's free from that, he has said that he is willing to work on this project. And then there's another one that works at the station, and he doesn't have another job, so he supplements what he's not getting through the full-time firefighter position with the reserve, with the inspector portion.
I'm going to ask a question, and if it can't be answered here, just don't answer it. How much do these reserves make working as reserves?
So it's all based on a stipend. So we have the stipend system that works together with that. So as they work, the 6-hour day equates to $75? $75 for a 6-hour day.
I don't know, I'd like to hear from other board members. My only thing is their ability to actually do this for more than, I mean, if all they, I don't know.
Well, for the most part, my understanding is that reserves don't really they don't do what they do now for the money. They do it for the training, and so that they can put it in the resume.
Yeah.
And so, and if I'm understanding this, if there are two people, if say it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday,
Mhm.
one might work on Monday, the other might work on Wednesday, Friday.
Yeah.
And if there's no need, I'm assuming
Yeah. We wouldn't use them.
they would be on an as-needed basis.
Yeah.
But if we need them and they're not available,
Then I do it or Steve does it.
We save money.
Yeah, it doesn't cost us anything. But we do it because we want to keep the building from stopping, right? So the end result is if we don't do anything, and I know that's not the question or the answer here, but if we don't, then we get overwhelmed and I can't do all the inspections, and then it slows down the building, and then we have problems with developers, and then everybody's complaining, so.
Well, but if you're paying them $75 for 6 hours a day, that's $12 an hour. I wouldn't want to pay the one that's going to get a job less than $12 an hour.
Fair enough.
Which, the way it's written out there, it would have been just a few cents less than $10 an hour.
Okay.
But I'll go with whatever motion at this point, because I'm really confused on this one.
Yeah, if you give me a maximum that I can go up to, then I have no problem.
I say don't exceed the plan check fees and inspection fees.
Okay.
You
That-
got a budgeted amount,
Yeah.
but we're over that budget.
Yeah.
I mean, we got money to play with. I mean, you know how to control the budget. That's
Okay.
your job.
All right.
We still have to give them a salary. We still have to decide on a salary.
Question, but just kind of thinking outside the box, is there any way to make this a reserve responsibility and then just pay them their regular reserve pay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wouldn't it make it part of their
Yeah.
reserve?
Absolutely. They come in and
That
do.
way we can train others.
I agree.
Yeah, and just take whoever's available.
Because it makes them a better firefighter. They learn building construction. They learn all about sprinklers, and it's good. It's good training.
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
Is that a motion?
You make the motion.
Make a problem with your training program?
Yeah, I make the motion that we make,
Utilize the reserve force.
right, that we train the reserve force to also assist in inspections
Yeah.
and just pay them their regular reserve salary or stipend.
Okay.
when they're doing it. And but that only the ones that have been trained
Right.
Right.
can do it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay.
I
Fair
second that. Do we want to wait for Manuel to get up here?
Yeah. We got a motion, Manuel. Well, that's too bad, but I'm sorry, but we got to get through the agenda. The motion is to go ahead and make that a reserve training program and pay them the necessary wage, which is up to the chief.
Well, I think we're going to move that. After reading all that over there, I was going to move. So right now, listen to all of you, I think maybe we got over yes.
Mm-hmm.
No, we haven't voted yet. Okay?
No.
My only question, Chief, is the cost of the vehicle shall not exceed $50,000.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah. I know, but so it's
What are we doing with the vehicles that we got?
well, the vehicles that we have now, the 04 that we have, I'm going to be turning that in because we're about 170,000 miles on that, and so we're getting that. I'm hoping to trade that in when we go to get this next vehicle or sell it, whatever the best option is going to be, and I can bring that back later. The pickup we're utilizing for the CERT because we're going to start utilizing the CERT program and get them active so that they can respond to rehab for the firefighters and do other necessary needs around the district that we could utilize them for. And then so the vehicle, the 07 would be about, Steve is utilizing that right now as currently. So that's all gone. I just.
What are you looking at, though?
We're going to get another Tahoe, and then the reason why I'm thinking that is that we have a spare one. If we ever have one of ours goes down, myself, the battalions, or admin, then the admin battalion, then we'd have a spare vehicle for us to utilize.
So you're going to have these guys driving the Tahoe? I was thinking more like a little white truck.
Yeah. Well, then that takes away the resource of having another vehicle in case we need it for our staff.
All right, well, get it cheap.
I'm just trying to utilize all of our money that in different pots that we can utilize at different times.
So do the reserve
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially
So-
the ones at 32, they're the engineer, firefighter engineer out there.
So, yeah,
Then they go through-
utilizing fire facility fees is only allowed when it is in the master plan and when it's in addition to, when you're bringing new positions on like that.
Do we have little white trucks? I've seen them.
Just one.
Not little ones, but we have a half-ton with the camper shell. That's the one we're going to utilize for the CERT program, because that way we can put a bunch of ice chests in there, fill them full of...
Well, what I'm trying to see if, and maybe you already have this in mind, where this brand-new Tahoe is going to be deployed to the full-time employee and then whatever.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, this has to be the hand-me-down.
Right, it will.
Okay.
You're absolutely right.
Don't get new stuff.
All right, there's a motion on the floor. Roll call,
So,
please.
Go.
Go ahead.
Do we have to amend the motion to include the purchase of the vehicle?
No, it's on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
We do. That's correct.
Because the motion is different.
The motion only includes the employee or the reserve.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, okay, whatever, go ahead.
Yeah.
Motion is to,
I think you motioned, right? Director Payton?
yeah.
No,
I'm in the motion
To include?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll make my second.
But get it cheap,
Yeah.
not no 50,000.
Oh, it shouldn't cost that much.
All right, roll call, please.
Solar and 32.
Director Manuel Maderos,
No.
Director Robert Gleason,
Yes.
Director Ty Payton,
Yes.
Vice Chair Gloriana Rhodes,
Yes.
Chairman Benny Gatto.
Yes.
And if I could have utilized that money for it, I would.
It's coming out of specific
All
funds.
right,
The fire prevention.
item 10.1, Chief's report.
So we report on the graduation. The badge pinning ceremony went, I think, very successful. We brought on another. It's not our first female reserve firefighter, but an additional female firefighter, and she is pretty eager. I think I kept putting my foot in my mouth when I was trying to explain how well she did. I know, but we're pretty happy with the results. She's already ridden twice, so she's already at the stations worked 2 24-hour shifts. So she's ready to go, and she's eager to be here, and so we're happy. And the rest of the firefighters, I think, are going to be very successful, and I look forward to seeing them around. And if you couldn't make it, that was we missed you guys there, and we'll hopefully get you there. Just want to remind everybody about the holiday party on December 12th. Okay, yeah,
Wait a minute, Ty's got a question.
I want to ask a question about the reserve.
yeah.
Does she work on can she work on all 4 stations?
Yeah, so we have modified the bathroom facilities, and she hasn't worked at the outstations yet because we want her to be at the Lathrop stations to get used to, they're busier. The outstations have, the calls are more intense, but they're very far and few in between. So all the reserves, not just her. So, but we accommodated the facilities to make sure that the doors lock for the bathroom. Station 34 has its own 2 bathrooms, so it's not a problem. And all the bedrooms are separated. It was easy to accommodate. And she worked there last time, but she worked at Station 31 the first shift, and I made sure that the bathroom door locked, and we have a female restroom, but the showers are in one. They're joint use, so we made sure that we accommodated her on that. And then we hopefully have another female firefighter that we're planning to get through a system. She ran a little bit late with her background, but I have a couple additional that have drug on with their backgrounds too. And it wasn't their background as much as it was the medical. Our medical is extremely strict, so they just had to get different things answered from the doctor and stuff. So, but we have a couple more, 3 more we're bringing on, and one of them's another female firefighter. So we're looking forward to that. I think it's exciting times, it really is.
If I could just add something, for all of you very gentlemen, I'll tell you this much right now. When I was in the San Jose Council of Government, and I was one of 19, but the only female, I never felt like I was part of the group until the day that nobody opened the door for me. So in other words, what I'm saying is, the bathrooms, all of
Yep.
those things that have to be accommodated, but in terms of everything else, nothing. We don't have to single them out for anything else. They're just like anybody else.
Yeah, she pretty much laid that out to us too. Well, to them. I wasn't there when she did it, but she wants to be treated just like everybody else. So, and I'm sure they accommodated her. I have no doubt. She worked with a great captain.
We do need to take a vote, Mr. Chair.
No, for what?
Don't we? Do I? Oh, I'm sorry. I did
No.
that. Oh, sorry.
So the LMFD
been a
holiday
while.
party. So
We're
are
like-
you going to be able to make it?
I think this is our latest, our shortest agenda and our longest meeting.
Well, Ron kept talking, man. So the holiday party's coming up, and we're looking forward to having that, and we're moving forward.
That's right. You wanted a roll call.
Okay.
That's my night for starting at the.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Everybody else is planning on being there? Try to?
You put these in our packet, but, I just clued you in where this is.
Yeah, when I read it, I thought it was in Santa Rosa, because it says Santa Rosa.
It's down
Um,
Diego.
No, it's in San Diego.
No, we're not going there.
Yeah, that was a good one. That's the one that Bob and Gloria, we attended.
And I need some modules, I know I'm not going to.
Okay. All right, that was the last thing I had on for the chief's report.
December 12th.
Yeah, no, it is. That's a long drive.
I don't, by the way, I don't charge the district for anything, like my mileage or anything else.
No, you never have.
So I definitely don't want to drive to.
Yeah.
begin with.
Agree. Agree. So I think that's,
Party's December 12th, right?
yeah, December 12th.
That's the opening for those.
Same place. Oh, you didn't go last year, did you? Same place as we were out there.
Yeah, out there in the, yeah, out nowhere. Yeah, I know. They're hoping to be annexed into the city someday.
Get inside.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Board comments.
Any board?
I have I've kind of a request for next meeting. Not to want to overburden December, but the department's readiness in regards to El Nino and our working relationship with the city. I'd like to get just an update. Where are we sitting? What are we doing?
Okay.
In regards to that.
Well, we're working on the EOP. We're a big player in the EOP, the Emergency Operation Plan that the city's just redoing. They had a grant. So we're a big player on that. We're one of, if it gets approved as writ, we'll be one of the emergency directors in a role on that. So I'll bring you, I got to wait for the city to approve it, but if I can, maybe ask maybe for a couple months on that, because once the city approves it, then I can bring it back, and then you'll have the whole plan. I can give you an outline. How's that
I think
sound?
an outline would be good because
Okay.
when we're looking at El Nino hitting in
Absolutely.
January, February, we may be in the middle of it when we get the report.
Right. I'll give you an outline, because we're a big part of the IMT and the EOC for the city.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very nice graduation for everybody that worked on it. I know that.
Yeah, the staff does an outstanding job.
They did an awesome job. Everything was just wonderful, and I really appreciate it. I like this one better than any other. I don't know why. But anyway, outside of that, I'm not really sure. In fact, I'm almost positive I will not be able to be here December.
Okay.
Delosa runs shorter this year, the 12th through the 2nd.
Yeah.
I'm the only manager for the children's section.
Oh.
I don't know that I'm going to be able to get coverage for that. So just to let you know, it doesn't look like I'll be able.
Okay.
No sweat, no worries. Ty?
Yeah, I just want to say that I'm sorry that I missed the graduation.
Yeah.
If you do it again, I'll come.
Yeah. I can do that. They'll be more than willing to come get it pinned again. It was standing room only, and I didn't expect so many people to come, and I was sweating it. And there was a lot, and I had to get through because I did some captains and some firefighters got pinned, and yeah, Steve got pinned. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So you didn't miss.
That's it.
Ma'am?
I didn't make it. That was busy. By the time I got done, I had to sit down, I had a light.
Mm. Yeah. No worries.
No problem.
Yeah, we'll get the next one.
Thank you all.
All right.
The city just put in my box the sales tax, and it looks like they, would we figure, Chief, about 65,000 more
Yeah.
than
For
last
that,
year?
yeah.
So
It's
we'll get
getting
a
up there.
couple more dollars out of
Yeah.
our Measure C. And that's the sales tax revenue.
Yep.
You remember that, Gloriana, when we used to give it to the council. So, thank you all. Keep up the good work, and we'll see you at the party.
All right. Sounds good.
Meeting adjourned.
And the, I should have asked earlier, but the river island thing is just passed for our
Yeah, one at a time. Yeah, it took a little while. Is the girl there?
Yeah, she's here. She's there. There's and the report doesn't put a little pat on her shoulder when she throws the ladder. She just throws the ladder. Well, the last one put a pat on her shoulder when she throws the ladder.